you got to remove it, but you got to just make sure that you open up the hole a little bit wider. Oh,
Right.
we're recording.
You don't want to shake it too much, or else it doesn't work really well. Welcome to Tangent, the off-topic podcast. That is my co-host Chance.
Yeah, that is my co-host. Sorry, I had to. I don't know why, but I had to do that.
You had to.
I just
It's
had to.
okay. You know you got to get the inappropriate jokes out right off the bat.
That was inappropriate.
Oh, well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah,
But
I'm
anywho,
sure.
welcome to Tangent, the off-topic podcast. We are currently living in a world where there's some form of easing of restrictions, where either one of us are currently. What is the craziest thing you've done in public, Chance? Besides that,
This. Um, and for anyone that is just listening to this, I'm just throwing my arms up in the air. I don't know which direction they're going in, but they just act independently on their own. It's kind of like Doctor Octopus from Spider-Man 2. Um, Craziest thing I've done in public, just in general.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to admit this.
we don't. You don't have to.
This was I was 14.
No, I meant, but like after lockdown, not before. But yeah, like you already segued into that one, so if you want to talk about it, go right ahead.
Well, this one may be a good segue into our topic.
Okay.
I'm not going to say this is the craziest thing I've done in public. I don't think I've done many crazy things in public, but let me take a swig of water because this is a story. There's some good water. It's just a stupid thing I've done, and I've never done it again. Which was, Anyway, do you know the international chef Jamie Oliver,
I've heard of him.
the British
Yes.
guy? Yes.
Yes. He's apparently no, not Gordon Ramsay.
No, he's like the opposite of Gordon Ramsay. He's like
The opposite. Okay.
yeah, he's
He's like the nice Gordon Ramsay.
well,
No?
let's just say, if you're an idiot and you're 14, and you're walking through a crowd in a shopping mall where he's doing a live demonstration, and his his base audience is middle-aged mothers and women, all like there's probably about maybe 300 of them there, and you're trying to push your way through a crowd with you and your two schoolmates. Now, I've never done anything like this before. This is probably the worst time to decide, hey, like, let's do something stupid. But he was doing his little cooking show on stage, and he was talking. And I'm really just going to make this really quick. But yeah, he was cooking, and he says something, and it was just, I don't know why I did this, but he was talking about um, like something about his wife or something. He's like, now where's my wife? And then I just out of nowhere, my dumb reaction was, oh, she's right here. And I just put up my hand and pointed randomly. And then all I felt was like the death stares of like 300 mothers with holding their Jamie Oliver cookbooks just look at me while we're pushing through them too, by the way, because we're cutting through this shopping mall. And and I was just like, oh shit. And I just kept walking. And then he was like, oh, he kept talking and talking, and then he said, you know, you'll obviously get little wankers in the crowd every now and again. And I was like, that was probably referring
That's
to me.
me.
So yeah, uh, my fault completely, totally. Sorry, Jamie Oliver, if you're out there.
We'd be so lucky if Jamie Oliver listened to our podcast.
And one day he's just like, I remember that little bastard
He's like, the Australian mall kid.
from 1999. He just remembers every enemy that he's ever had. Everyone that's heckled him. He's like, the kid from out the back, 20 meters away. I know that kid. Yeah, so ever since then, I find it hard to watch his cooking show.
Out of just sheer embarrassment.
Yeah, or go to his restaurant. He did have a restaurant he opened up here.
I mean, like, it's not the most wild thing I've heard of.
No, that wasn't as wild as, like, say, uh, I'm just trying to think what else was. I didn't really do any wild things, but yeah. What about you?
Pre or post lockdown?
Well, not when you're.
I meant post
Let's go
lockdown.
post lockdown. While you're saying
Okay.
that, I'll try to figure out what what was.
I ate inside of a restaurant this past weekend.
Ooh,
Crazy.
with people?
With people, with my parents, of all people.
And with other people that weren't your parents sitting around? Or
Yes.
Ooh,
I didn't know. Apparently, they don't have the Rona in Northern California.
at
They
all.
must have cured it or something because no one was wearing masks. There was there was not really like there was a tent outside, but no one was sitting in it. It was kind of weird.
But you guys are moving into summer soon?
Yes.
Yeah, so why isn't anyone sitting out in the tent? That's like the best time to like eat. It's like just before summer.
You'd think that?
Kind of. Besides the flies, I don't know if you guys get crazy flies there. We get like annoying flies during summer, just flying.
We get annoying flies, but we don't have like giant Australian flies like that. I'm sure that's a different.
I don't.
Y'all get the crazy bugs.
I love how like people assume Australia's got like these crazy bugs, like
But like,
our flies are like just muscular with like fat necks, and they're just like, "Oi, mate, what are you doing?" No, like they're not. We only have maybe big crazy spiders, and it's only one big crazy spider. It's just a huntsman, but like, don't you guys have tarantulas?
we do.
I've seen Home Alone. I know that there's tarantulas.
We have them here. They're not super common, but they are around. We have black widows, which are definitely something you do not want to encounter. But they're like small.
Yes, they'd be the equivalent of our I think our redbacks, which are like small, really deadly spiders.
I just know that there's an episode of a children's show that they couldn't air in Australia because it pretty much was like spiders are okay. Like you don't have to smash it the first time you say it. Like it's okay. Don't be afraid of spiders. And it's like no, you can't air that in Australia because you need to be afraid of the spiders there.
Well, the huntsmans aren't poisonous. That's the thing. They're just really big. Like you can get them the size of like your hand, but
Nope.
They're not poisonous.
Nope.
They're
Are they
just.
not?
They're not. They can bite you though. I haven't been bitten by one. I've had one on me. I haven't been bitten by one. But the crazy thing that they can do is that they can flatten their body. So like with regular spiders, they got like they got a chunky butt, and so sometimes they can't sort of like fit through certain areas. So huntsmans have this ability to kind of like compress their body and like side shimmy, so they can get through thin gaps. And I learned only through experience that they can jump, and I've never like I had one in my car that kind of like sat in the boot, and I went to spray it with like an insect spray, and I went up to it, and I just thought if I spray it, he's just kind of going to go, and you know what spiders do when they just kind of compress in. I thought
no,
spray, and then maybe with a broom knock him out. And so I sprayed him, and he just jumped backwards at me. If you were like my neighbors living in my old place and looking out the window, they just would have seen this guy like and then like run like a bill, like so far away from my own car.
Well, we heard a woman scream really loudly, and then we went outside, and Chance was just running down the street.
Hey, we found a middle-aged man just cowering in the corner of the street on the curb in the fetal position. Yeah, so that's us. We went on crazy
No!
things. Maybe snakes. Yeah, snakes and
Snakes are bad. Don't hang out with those.
jellyfish like the blue ring, I think it is. Yeah, and sharks. So it's not besides those things. And if you get into a fight with a kangaroo, you don't want to do that.
You know, the stereotype is that that's something that can happen anywhere, anytime.
The snake thing maybe in certain areas, if you're close to wetlands, maybe. Regarding kangaroos, some places, there's some on the golf courses which is pretty funny. They just kind of sit there lying down, like just scratching their belly. And you're like, if you're shit like me and you play golf, your ball is gonna land in the rough near a kangaroo if you're playing on like a really like far out course.
What do you do then? Like,
I usually
you're like
drop. I that ball is lost. Like that's the kangaroo's ball from that point on.
okay.
Usually, like sometimes I've seen people like walk up and the kangaroo's just kind of like just sitting there scratching his belly with his muscles. Like if you've seen kangaroos, they're like fucking jacked. They got like neck muscles. They got their own pecs. They got biceps on top of biceps. I think they do chin ups in their spare time. Like that's the thing they do.
It's a lot. Yeah.
You
They
know.
never skip leg day.
Oh, totally not. Or
They're
tail.
really known for that.
Yeah, tail
nope.
as well. I see them. I think every now and again you'll come across one. And they're just kind of like lifting weights in the corner, and they got all their little mates cheering them on, in like Kangaroo Pork, which is like, So, you know, but have you ever had kangaroo?
No.
Hmm.
No, I have not. I've tried the most exotic thing I've tried is cobra. That's pretty stringy, pretty slimy tasting.
Does it come with skin, or is it just the meat?
No, it was just the meat, and I only had like a little taste of it. Mostly because I was like, I don't really feel like taking a full on like chomp out of this.
Did it come
cobra
in form, like wrapped in sort of like its cobra shape, or like in a long line so everyone could have a piece, or was it
No.
like a Subway, like just like in a sandwich?
No.
Just
No. It was like on a skewer. It was just like a hunk of meat on a skewer.
Oh, I thought you meant like the cobra was
not the whole cobra.
It was like a stick. You're just kind of like just chomping on one end. It's little mouth.
You know what this brings our topic for today?
Oh yeah, we have a topic. Yeah,
cooking.
That was
it is.
A perfect segue.
Thank you. I try. I saw an opening and I took it. I did not.
When was the first time you cooked cobra?
Well, I did not cook the cobra, so the story isn't really that interesting, I guess. I didn't have to catch the cobra. When I was in Cambodia, I wanted to get a cookbook, and someone was like, "Yeah, but like you're not going to be able to find the ingredients back in the States. That's going to be a bit of a problem for you." And I was like, "You don't understand. I live in the Bay Area where we have like every type of like ethnic food market under the sun, which is fantastic." However, so I did get a cookbook, and like one of the first recipes is like step 1, catch 12 live crickets. And I was just like, man, if I have to make this, like, guys, I'm sorry, I couldn't find enough crickets for dinner tonight. I'm so sorry. So I was like, okay, maybe I can't find that kind of stuff around here, but for the most part.
Like, what about grasshoppers? Are they the same thing?
I don't think they are. They're not classified as the same thing. If only we had a worldwide searchable database that we can look this up in.
I know, right? I mean, Let me check Alta Vista. I'm pretty sure that thing's still around.
I'm sorry. My brain had to go. I'm like, right. was a search
I think so. There was another one. Ask Jeeves.
engine? Cricket versus Grasshopper. Let's see here. Is it a cartoon?
I'm
No.
sure there's a video clip somewhere on YouTube of a cricket versus a
The
grasshopper.
main difference between a grasshopper and a cricket is that crickets tend to have long antennae, and grasshoppers have short antennae.
Oh, that's
Crickets stridulate, sing by rubbing their wings together, while grasshoppers stridulate by rubbing their long hind legs against the wings.
so.
So
There's
they're kind of just in a different club.
yeah, they're like the same thing, except one guy was like one cricket saw the other one was just kind of like, no, sorry mate, you got short antenna, you're not part of us.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
And then that poor little grasshopper, walked away and was like, yeah, well I'll show you guys. I'm gonna rub my legs against my wings instead of rub my wings together.
Oh, you don't want me to be part of the choir? Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'll go make my own choir.
Okay, so you could use grasshoppers if you really needed.
I guess you could. I'm very lucky that I don't live in an area with too many of those.
Ah, right. I mean, you could potentially use what's the equivalent? Maybe like Pringles?
Pringles? Did you know Pringles
Yeah.
don't contain enough like actual potato in them to be considered a potato chip?
Really?
Yeah, they're like a potato crisp. Like they're a
Oh.
potato snack. They're not like yeah.
Yeah.
Like next time you buy a can of Pringles, just look up like does it say potato crisp or potato chip? No.
And do you feel like the little Pringles man is like a rip-off of the Monopoly man? Or it's like his lost brother?
Oh, man, asking the hard-hitting questions here, Chance. I'm gonna say yes.
It's like when he was younger. Like that's how the
Right.
Monopoly man got rich.
I
Was
feel like
Pringles?
God, what's the Monopoly man's name again? Mr. Moneybags or something?
Is that his name? Surely not. Holy
Monopoly man.
fuck, his name is Mr. Moneybags.
Rich Uncle Pennybags. Well, Rich Uncle Pennybags really doesn't like his estranged cousin, Mr. Pringle. And so that's what I'm thinking the relationship between the two is. But like, Mr. Pringle's is like my hair on point, stash also like you could tell there's a family resemblance.
Yeah. Like that's like their tradition is to grow that stash out. So
Yeah.
but yeah, you could use Pringles instead of crickets or stuff. Just throwing it out there.
I'll have to dig up that cookbook soon and let you know.
Yeah, I'm keen to see your Instagram posts of like
My Pringle
yeah
substitute.
your food inspiration Pringle cricket little dish that you're taking all these photos of. So okay, so is cobra or cricket the weirdest thing you've eaten?
I didn't eat the crickets.
Oh,
I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna respectfully pass. I'd say cobra is the weirdest thing I've eaten. What about you?
hmm. Um, horse maybe.
How is horse?
Ugh. I had it not
It's
knowing it.
not good apparently.
Well, I didn't know it was horse, and it was raw horse meat. Um, I was in
You ate it
Japan.
raw?
Yeah,
Okay.
my friends took me to a Ichigeki's a breakdance crew. I can't remember what it's called now. A thing, and
Okay.
they ordered this food, and they're just like, oh, try this. This was when I was eating meat. Obviously I'm not on meat anymore, but yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is really good. What is it? It was like just raw beef. It looked like raw beef sliced up. And I was like, oh, this is not bad. And they're like, oh, and they just was there smiling, just like, try some more, try some more. I was like,
No, never a good sign.
and then I was through like the second last piece, and then they're like, "Do you know what it is?" I'm like, "Beef," and they're like, "Horse," and I'm like,
Who ordered the horse?
"Yeah." So that's probably it's either that or say kangaroo, but kangaroo is like they sell kangaroo here. Like kangaroo meat is they have like the tail cut up, and you can buy like the tail and stuff. It's yeah.
Is it good?
People like it. They say it's really gamey. It's really tough. It's like a
Mhm.
red meat. It's like really dark and um. I find it stinks when you cook it. Like it's got a
Hmm.
weird smell to it. But people seem to like it. I don't. I think it tastes like shit. But
To
it's a
each their
thing.
own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's kangaroo burgers. I think. I don't know. There's some weird stuff. I've had friends try crocodile too. They say that's
We
kind of
do.
like
Yeah, there is a restaurant here in San Francisco that does alligator or crocodile,
it-
but like as a steak, like you just eat it.
that's just so yeah. I mean, this is why like with my cooking, I keep it real basic shit, so I know what I'm cooking. I don't want to be looking through a cookbook and then they're like, find like five Eye of Newt. I mean, that's probably something that would come out of Harry Potter, but you know, like what's the most epic thing that you've cooked?
Most epic. Oh, that's a good question. Like fanciest?
Hmm.
Hmm. Uh, I don't know. I end up cooking Christmas dinner for my family every year, and it's very my family's a very meat and potatoes kind of family. So like, which is all fine and dandy, but like every single occasion we go to a steakhouse, and it's not even like a nice steakhouse. It's a chain steakhouse. Like my mom and I have the same birthday, and so there were several years in a row where we were treated to our favorite restaurant, which was my dad's favorite restaurant of the Outback Steakhouse. Um,
Is that
so
an
like,
Australian chain in America, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Oh God, Chance, if you ever come to the States, I need to take you to an Outback Steakhouse just so you could like laugh your ass off at it.
What? Okay, because I've never been there. I've always like whenever I was in America, I'd always drive past. What is like on their menu? What do they think is an Australian?
Okay, have you ever heard of a blooming onion?
A what?
A blooming onion? It's a deep fried onion, is all it is.
Is
That's
it
like been
sliced
made into
up?
onion fries. Yeah.
So we've got. Do you guys do like um potato cakes?
Sometimes. You
So
mean at the Outback Steakhouse or just in general?
like is potato cakes an international thing or is that an Australian thing? Because I learned a few things.
I
So
mean we got them around. I
so
wouldn't say they're super common, but yeah.
we call maybe like we've also got onion cakes at some places where it's the same sort of thing. It's just like the chopped up onions deep fried. Is it kind of like that or not really?
No, I need to here. Let me show you a picture.
We got
We're gonna clear the bloomin' onion, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
what the fuck is that?
Did you look it up a picture?
I did.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like the thing the restaurant is fucking known for.
What?
Yeah,
That is like the most
they have a
non-Australian thing
huge.
ever.
I know, right? What's the sauce that they're served with it? I'm assuming it's just like ranch dressing or something.
Which,
Horseradish, ketchup, egg, cayenne pepper. Huh.
hmm,
Hmm.
that is so weird. So what? So I'm assuming they've got like steak is their thing, and
They
this
have steak,
blooming
and
onion,
then they have anything on the Barbie. So it'll be shrimp on the Barbie.
which we
Which
never even say shrimp on the Barbie. It's actually prawn. So
Americans are too simple for that. They're not going to understand what that is. So I'm going to take you to the Outback Steakhouse the next time you come to the U.S.
I think
Please
the only thing
allow me that honor.
I can eat there is this bloody blooming onion.
True.
I'll have five of those, please. Lot.
Oh my god! But like, you could be like, "Yay, it's my birthday, and I'm here."
I mean, look, it looks kind of nice, but
Oh.
Is it Australian? Okay, what
No.
dessert do they have there?
What dessert? Oh,
Mm.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. We tend not to do those.
Because if they
It's
have
that bad.
a pavlova, then that's an Australian thing.
Ooh. What is a
Have you had
pavlova?
a pavlova? It's just like whipped egg. It sounds really weird. I've got to find the photo.
Okay.
I gotta find it.
I mean, complicated stuff. I guess I've made some pretty complicated desserts.
Um,
Complicated. I don't like. I've made a lot of cake.
the cakes are hard. I find cakes hard. So this,
Um, I did do Daisy's
oh,
pavlova. Um,
it's
I did
literally.
do Daisy's honeycomb recipe.
How was that? How'd that?
It
How'd
was
that?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually very simple, but like you kind of just have to know what you're doing. And I, a complete amateur, had no idea what I was doing. So um, I had to start over. I burnt the first batch really badly. And then
I need to.
I
I need
started
to.
over, and the second batch was a little bit better.
Didn't she also do a chocolate brownie, which I still have to do? I've been meaning to
Is
do.
there another one?
I think so. I don't know if there was that, but I need to get on
Mm,
because I would like to make a chocolate brownie. I'm trying to even think what was like the most epic thing I've cooked. I don't.
yeah.
Hmm. I don't know really. I did. I used to do like this really cool like steamed fish, and you put it in the foil, and you get the hoisin sauce, and you like cut up some ginger on top and like some spring onion. You let that all steam in your little steamer for like a couple of hours, then you take it out. Oh, not a couple of like 20 minutes or so. You take it out. It's just all nice and not flaky. I used to do like lamb shanks when I was like eating meat, where you'd sort of just have them sitting in the pot for like 3 hours, and you're just basting it in like it was orange juice, marmalade, Worcestershire sauce, and something else. And then like you let it
Hmm.
sit in there, then you take it out, and it like comes off the bone really easily. And then I realized what lamb was, and then I stopped eating.
Herein lies. Why is it so good? Oh.
Oh, yeah. Why are they so
Hmm.
small? They need lamb shanks that are much bigger. And then I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm. um, Complicated. I guess I end up cooking dinner for my family, like Christmas dinner for my family most years, and they're all about like prime rib. So it's a prime rib dinner with all of the sides and stuff. So I won't say epic. It's just a lot of food.
I mean, that's a lot to do. Like trying to organize all those different things running at the same time. This is where stage manager skills sort of like
So they
plays.
come in. They do and they don't. Because like there's things you can't account for. Like I guess my parents' oven is just not a very good oven. It does. I don't think it's as hot as they claim that it is. If like you set it to 450, I don't think it's at 450. I think it's more like 375. So like, why is it taking forever for everything to cook?
Wait,
um,
450. Oh wait, Fahrenheit. That's right. Sorry.
Fahrenheit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. We operate on a different metric system. Oh,
Well,
232.
I mean,
Okay.
two different systems entirely. I'm not even on a metric system.
Oh, that's right. What's your system called?
The imperial system.
Imperial system. That's it. Yeah.
And I go anywhere else in the world, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
I mean, don't other countries use it? Canada sort of uses it, don't they? Partially.
No,
I think England kind of do, don't they? With pounds, or do they use kilograms?
I think they use kilograms. I don't know what stone means.
Yeah, I don't know that one either. I'm like,
Okay,
did they? How did they ever come up with the idea to measure things in stone?
I don't,
There's
I don't know what that means.
I mean, I'm
I have
picturing medieval times, and they had like a big scale, and they had like one guy, and then they had another massive dude just carrying stones, just trying to like measure out.
it's like, well, this is the rock we've decided to weigh everything else against, which
Yeah.
is a thing. Which is a thing. There's like the official like kilo. I
Yeah.
think.
So who
Yeah.
came up with that kilo? Who went? That's a kilo.
This is the one.
Yeah.
This is it. I have two topical stories when
Mm.
it comes to measuring in cooking. One took place tonight where I was making dinner and I missed the recipe. I misread teaspoon as tablespoon. So I
Mm.
put 2 tablespoons of soy sauce into a sauce when it was supposed to be 2 teaspoons, and it very much tasted just like only soy sauce. So great job, Steph. Good job, dyslexic Stephanie. And then again, rewinding back to Cambodia, I was in the Kampot region, and they're very famous for their pepper. And so I was like, I want to get me some of that. And so I literally just asked a random person in the marketplace, like, hey, do you know where I could get some pepper? And then, hold on a minute. And like, they start making a bunch of like phone calls and stuff. And they're like, wait here for a little bit. And then like 5 minutes later, a guy on a motorcycle rolls up. No, on the phone they asked, they're like, the question was posed to me, how many kilos do you want? Which me, being a dumbass American, went, one.
Holy shit, that bag would have been huge.
So 5 minutes later, a guy on a motorcycle rolls up, like pops open the like storage bin on it, and he pulls out this like grocery bag. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, what am I supposed? How am I supposed to get this home? And also, what? And they're like, you asked for a kilo, and I was just like, and I had to look it up later. Of like a kilo is like 2.5 pounds. And when it's peppercorn, they're really like tiny, lightweight things. So it's like this giant. And I was like, it's too late for me to back out of this. Like, it's been delivered.
It?
Yeah, it's been delivered to me. So, and they're like, that'll be $15. And I was like, wait, really? That's it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Knowing that this probably was lying in somebody's like yard drying like 10 minutes ago.
And this dude, like, he gets this phone call from his mate, and he's sitting there doing his own thing, and the guy's just like, we need a kilo of your peppers. And he's like,
we need a kilo of the stuff, dude.
I'm in it now. Yes. He's like, hey Ma, cancel all orders. We got the biggest shipment ever. And he's just coming out. He's just,
there's some white lady at a market that's asking for pepper. I'm gonna go get it to her. And I'm like, sorry. But so I didn't try to like negotiate of like, hey, I only was hoping for like a bottle or something. That wasn't gonna work. Because also it's given to me in a plastic grocery bag.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, all right, how am I going to get this back into the United States? Because they're super tight.
Taking it back with you all the way back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of like, okay. And so I got it. I remember getting on the bus, and my friend's asking, what the fuck is that? I'm like, it is 2.5 pounds of the finest Kampot pepper. And everyone's like, wow. And I'm like, I should just give it to people. And I was like, you get pepper, and you get pepper, and you get, and they all humored me and did the Oprah screaming and thing.
Did you put it under their seat? You had to put it under their seat if you wanted to be real Oprah, where you just sit.
That's true.
Everybody gets it.
I ended up giving it out as Christmas presents. I gave it to a teacher. I was just like, please give me a good grade. Please. I did okay in your class. Can we maybe just bump that to an A- instead of a B?
There's more pepper where that came from,
Yeah. However, it is in fact really good pepper. I ran out recently.
How long ago were you in Cambodia?
It was 2013.
Don't tell me you've had it since 2013 till now. You ran out recently.
I ran out about a year ago. But that's the thing about peppercorns. Like, as long as they're stored properly, they kind of keep indefinitely.
Wow. I did not know.
Yeah. But I definitely was just like, we got to U.S. Customs and like, do you have any agricultural product? And I was like, I don't know what that is. I figured it was fine to bring back into the country considering it's dried. I think it would be different if it was like a seed or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But I definitely was like, no agricultural items here, no. Just a kilo of something in my suitcase.
So I guess now that means you have to travel back to Cambodia at some stage and get another kilo of or two and
Yeah,
a
to last me another like 7 years. Yeah. I need that.
I mean, honeymoon ideas potentially.
Ooh. I was like, hey, can we just swing through Cambodia really quick? I gotta pick up some pepper.
I mean, that's not a bad reason to go. It's not
No,
the best reason either, but it's not
no.
not a bad reason.
Uh yeah. But that's my Stephanie can't convert
I mean,
anything
yeah,
story.
I've it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to when I read the instructions, and I always get like TBS and TPS. What is it? TPS tablespoon TSP.
Oh, that's what I did today. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I get that mixed up as well. But like I just double up on everything else if I end up doing like a tablespoon. I just go, oh, it was a tablespoon of salt. All right, I'm just doubling everything that I've got in there and just chuck it in. That should theoretically balance it out. Does it work? Never, but
No.
makes
Someone told me cooking is an experiment and baking is an exact science.
yeah, I don't bake much. I I remember I baked biscotti. That's
Ooh, fancy.
the most Aussie way as well. I got some biscotti. Um, I remember baking biscotti, and it was so freaking hard by the time it came out of the oven that
Oh,
it was like a brick, and it was so hard to cut. And then I was trying to offer it to everyone else, and everyone was like chipping their teeth. So yeah. Note to people making biscotti: get a do it right.
I definitely made molasses cookies once, but we were at like my family had a vacation home like in like the mountains. And so we were at an altitude. So the cookies came out rock hard and we were like, what the fuck did we do wrong? Like we did everything.
I'm looking at molasses right now because I don't
Yeah.
really know what molasses is. I only really heard about molasses from, I think, Puppet History, which is that Watcher show, and they talked about the Great Molasses Flood of like 19.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I was like, what is molasses? And I'm Googling it up now because you just mentioned it again. I'm trying to figure, I always thought it was like maple syrup.
No. But
No,
it's like it's even thicker and stickier. And it's a very strong tasting. Yeah,
it looks,
then
yeah, it looks like tar.
pretty much. But can you imagine drowning in molasses? That sounds awful. Like that whole disaster is just like it's comedic, but also like, oh my god,
Was,
what the fuck?
was that something you learned in school? Because I'd never heard of this.
I've learned about it through like several podcasts because it seems to be. Here we are on a podcast talking about it. It seems to be like a really good podcast subject.
I just like what what would you if you were gonna go out via molasses? What way would you want to go out via molasses? Like, would you like to have like just gotten stuck to the roof of something and you were just there for so long that you then died that way, or maybe
Hmm.
like you an excessive amount of molasses intake, or maybe the molasses covered all your pores and then like you couldn't breathe and then you just got really like a bad skin irritation and then or you're allergic to like molasses and then as soon as that
Uh You're allergic to molasses. Since I've had an unfortunate near drowning experience, I'd like to cancel that one out. I don't like that idea, but I would like to think I would just be able to like surf the molasses wave to safety. Like I find a door somewhere and I'm like, Cowabunga dudes, here we go. And that's my ideal scenario for the molasses flood.
uh, can you imagine like that last Titanic scene of like them hanging on the door. Poor Leo just stuck in molasses. Like,
There's some like
there's some room there. No, there's not.
It's definitely not. You can't come up here.
Yeah, just push his head down into the molasses. Yeah, it's such a weird thing to one. It's a weird thing to store an excessive amount of, and two, like to store that amount in like one big drum, like
Oh my
just
god.
in the middle of like the city, and just be like, that,
Well, it was apparently like leaking for a while too, and they just like decided to paint the whole thing the color of molasses so nobody would notice.
that's like the best thing ever. It's like, we got a problem here. What do you want to do? Just paint over it. That'll be fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think for me, my ideal situation, not I wouldn't want to like die from molasses. I think that's a horrible way to go. But
Right.
my ideal situation would be like when the waves come and gone and someone's looking for me, I'm just kind of like stuck up against the wall because of molasses. I just find that that would be the most hilarious thing. Like people
Right.
walking around looking for survivors, and then I'm just like, hey,
Up here.
just like, oh, everybody, just get your. What did they use molasses for? Tea or anything? Just like everybody, bring a cup of tea, and everyone's like coming down and just like scooping molasses off my back.
Oh my god.
I think that'll be.
I don't think I'm trying to think of what like I mostly use it in baking applications, maybe the occasional sauce, but not
Um,
like
either or. I mean, look, I think that would have been a good origin story for like Molasses Man, if ever there was like a, if you were to get
can molasses.
superpowers, would you rather be bitten by a radioactive spider or get infused with the power of molasses?
What does the infusion of the power of molasses do for someone? Chance?
So you get increased baking skills for one.
Ooh,
Only molasses themed.
you're just instantly a good baker.
Yes. So
Okay.
I'm looking this up now. Molasses, blackstrap molasses contains vital vitamins and minerals. So you'd have the equivalent strength of a person with a good level of iron and calcium and magnesium and vitamin B6 and selenium.
Wow.
Because it is a bone booster, you will have very good bones. Um, you also have the power, like Spider Man, to stick on walls, but you can't get unstuck. So once you're stuck, you just get stuck. So,
You're just essentially the fly on the wall in every scenario.
yeah, pretty much. Like you have to make sure you use your sticking powers like very wisely because once you're there, it's going to take a while to get down, and you need your sidekick with the big pizza pry thing to come down and kind of like pry you off the walls and stuff. You also have the element of what else does molasses do?
Tastes good.
Yeah, you have the element of sweetness.
Ooh.
Yeah, come on, this is so much better than Spider-Man. Molasses Man is
This
like,
is true. Far more. I was like, have you tried anything this guy's baked? It's great.
I mean, how many bad guys would enjoy your food so much that they just wouldn't bother turning to a life of crime? You know,
Yeah, he's the guy that shows up at all the like supervillain support circles. He's like, I brought cookies. And I was like, oh, you molasses man, thanks, dude. I was thinking of like bombing an entire city street, but these cookies are real good today.
yeah, he's just like, yeah, he's like, don't do drugs. He's that guy. Just,
Are you sure he's a villain? I think he's maybe the hero that we all need right now.
I think it's made out of plants.
Yeah, I have no idea what molasses is made of. Oh my god, this is half the podcast. We just talk about molasses.
You mentioned it. It took a life of its own. This is what
Well,
molasses is about. It's not about
this is
cooking.
tangent.
This is not
Yeah.
about cooking anymore. It's about molasses, molasses man, his powers, what he can bake,
Mhm.
and the nutritional values of molasses, which has selenium. I bet you didn't.
Surprising
Yeah.
nutritional value to it.
So stupid. But yeah, that sounds. What? How did we? How did we even go from?
I have no fucking clue.
You said something about molasses and baking molasses for your family,
I
and
made molasses cookies that were hard as a rock
wait, so
because
you're
of
a
the
molasses man?
because what?
Are you secretly
Uh,
molasses woman?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't know if this is a bit now or if. Oh, sorry.
I'm not
Did
sure.
I just divulge your secret identity to the world?
I was planning on baking cookies later tonight, but I think maybe best I don't. Now.
Well, I'm sorry, Zeb. That was my fault. That was my fault.
Steph's gonna miss out on some cookies now. It's
It's like,
okay.
damn it, gents.
I could maybe be convinced. I don't know. I do have I've made it's not complicated, but people get really excited about it. I do make English toffee,
Ooh.
which is like mostly butter and sugar. Like it's not complicated at all. But I know my fiance's family has had like fights over it. So I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean that is a really good sign of people are fighting over your food. I don't think I've had anyone fight over food that I've made. I don't think I've had people fight over anything that I've made.
I mean, it's both flattering, but also like, guys, I can just make more. It's gonna be okay.
That's the good sign of something good though, right? Is that the option is there for it to be made. It's not like it's like a finite thing. So
Right. I don't have to catch more crickets to make.
it's like, guys, we can use the grasshoppers in the corner or Pringle. You know,
Pringles.
I got Pringles in the pantry.
I don't know if I have enough Pringles substitute. Oh my god. How are we allowed to have a podcast? You know why? Because everyone's allowed to have a podcast.
I mean, yeah, I've said this before offline, and I'm saying it now. No one else steal this name because I think it's a good one. But there should be a podcast called Not Another Podcast.
Are we pivoting?
Are we?
Are we pivoting right now to not another podcast? Man, we gotta take that one offline.
I'm just gonna cut it from this point, and I'm just gonna change the credits. Not Another Podcast.
We have an entirely new title sequence. I'll ask my now former roommate. I was like, "Hey, can you make us a new song?"
It's just the
Maybe
same thing, but just one note changed differently.
Yeah, just in a different key, and then maybe we should add lyrics to it. It's not another podcast, not another podcast.
Fuck, it's another podcast.
Damn, it's another podcast.
I think that's yeah. We'll take this offline. No one else listen to this. This part we'll just mute. There's just gonna be a massive beep for this whole section, so you don't hear anything we're saying, and then it's gonna come back, and all you guys are gonna hear is Pringles.
And how I was like, Chance, you don't seem to understand. I tried to put a bunch of Pringles in these cookies, and it didn't really go very well.
I think what this requires is, once this ends, we need to find a recipe, or we need to make a recipe with Pringles. That's a challenge.
Do you use potato chips in any of your cooking?
So, no.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
But like, okay, this is one thing that I don't get about America, and maybe I'm just stupid, but every time I go there and I order a burger from like a joint, unless it's like Shake Shack or something like that, but if I order a burger from a place and they always say, "Do you want chips with that?" I always say yes, thinking that I'm gonna get like French fries or
Oh, right. Sorry, forgot about that.
yeah. You guys always just have like a little pack of chips that come with it. What the deal?
It depends on where you are. Sometimes I feel like you want chips Like, that means potato chips.
Yeah.
Or Pringles, which again is not a potato chip. But like typically it's burger and fries.
So it's fries. That's what I need to say. I
Most of
always
yeah,
say
you want
chips
fries.
and always get
Yeah,
this little pack of chips. They're probably like,
yeah.
what the fuck's this guy ordering? Like a pack of
Don't
chips?
say chips
Yeah.
because they will then give you chips. So
Well, here, if you ended up here, you probably ordered chips, thinking that you wanted like some Pringles or like some potato chips. You probably get like hot fries with that. So
yeah,
yeah,
order
but
order fries.
yeah, I think I will make a dish using Pringles because of this. I'm not saying it's going to taste good. It's probably going to taste like.
Yeah, no, I mean I just want to see pictures, and then maybe you send me a video of you eating whatever it is.
Well, you know, I'm currently sick. If people have just heard, I've been like coughing my lungs out every now and again. But this may keep that sickness rolling on if I do. So
Don't do that, no. I was like, and the illness continued.
it's like, what's wrong? His health isn't improving. It's like he made Pringles brownies. It's like, ah, oh, damn it. He made Pringles honeycomb. He tried to make molasses out of Pringles. It just didn't work. So
Ah.
wearing it, it seems to be working. It's like,
So weird tangent upon a tangent. I am going to Napa this weekend. Talk about crazy things doing after lockdown. Which Napa is a vacation region, like wine country, north of the Bay Area.
Is that Napa Valley? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
I know places.
Yes. So one of the people I'm going with, she's like, "What are you bringing for brunch over the weekend?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I thought we were going to Napa. Like, well, why would I bring something for brunch? Because I'm like pretty sure I'm waiting on somebody else to make me brunch. But do you have anything like? Do you have a favorite breakfast food that you like to make? Because that's a whole different ball game than dinner.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, are you bringing anything, or?
Oh no, because I was like, do you mean like an outfit? What outfit I'm wearing to brunch? Is that what you mean? Like, I'm still trying to like decipher of like, am I expected to bring a dish to this?
You haven't gone back to her yet.
No, she hasn't gotten back to me.
So this is open-ended so far. So
yes.
you're waiting.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, right. I thought this was like a real-time conversation that was being had, and like.
Here, let me check my texts. Let me see. She's like, sure, I don't know, I'm always bad at warm weather clothes. I'm like, that doesn't answer the question. If I need to bring a dish with me. I'm like, we're like going on a road trip. Why would we make brunch?
Here's the idea. This will cover all bases.
Okay.
Okay, there's two things you can do. One,
right.
you can. I don't know how feasible this is though, but you could mimic the story of the origin of Molasses Man and just get molasses powers and then potentially just say, I'm bringing molasses, and all you'll be sitting in the car covered in molasses. Don't do that. The second thing you can do is wear what you want to wear, whatever. Do that part of it, and peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the pockets, and you're covered. And a pack of Pringles just in one other pocket.
It's like, guys, for brunch, I brought everyone's favorite elementary school. I just start pulling out like all of these brown paper bags of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and little packs of Pringles. And maybe even a molasses cookie.
And if they're gourmet, you just like sprinkle some of that like salty goodness of Pringles onto the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Ooh. There it is.
There it is. I think we have got the new tangent meal that everyone needs to try. Peanut butter jelly sandwiches with Pringles. Sour cream, good? Or maybe just
No?
No,
I think there's enough flavors in there. I don't think we need to really do any more.
I mean, we can really get the palate to that kind of like sweet and saltiness and sour. Like we're hitting 3.
Maybe we should talk to Jamie Oliver about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he
Does
still
he does
may
he
think.
answer like Twitter questions? Like, does he?
I don't know, but he may remember. He may know me as well. I'll send him a message and just be like, "Hey, Jamie, remember the guy you called Wanker from 1999 who was 14 years old at the time?" Yeah. What do you think? Got a great idea, mate. What do you think about this for your title piece for your new cookbook? Peanut butter jelly sandwiches with sour cream Pringles. Wait, let's let's evolve this.
Okay, okay, I'm
No,
listening.
no bread,
Okay.
peanut butter and jelly on the Pringle. It's a Pringle sandwich, like an Oreo.
Ooh, so it's more of like an appetizer, kind of.
Mm,
Hmm.
yes, but when you make enough of them, it's like a complete meal. It's kind of like your blooming onion. You can have them all like splayed out.
Like a blooming onion, people would look at it and go, "What the fuck?"
I'm actually thinking of making this. You do realize
I know.
it's not going to be good.
Do you have these ingredients in your house currently?
I need to get some Pringles, which I will get. Um, but the rest, the peanut butter, the we don't call it jelly, so we don't use jelly on our sandwiches. We use jam or conserve.
We also call it jam.
Oh, so you have peanut butter and jam?
We have peanut butter and jelly, but it means jam.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
They're
yeah.
kind of interchangeable.
All right. So then, yeah, I've got that. I got that too. So Pringles. Are we? Is there a flavor to the Pringles? Any particular flavor?
Oh, that's when you start getting into the real like artisanal shit.
True. Okay. Let's keep this simple for now, and then we'll expand on it later. This will be our cookbook. This is our first line of tangent cookbooks.
First, catch a few cans of Pringles.
Daisy, we're coming for you. You better watch out. Okay, so this is it. This is
See,
good.
this is what's officially going to get us kicked out of her later.
I mean,
We haven't. Have we not been already?
maybe.
Hmm.
Okay, hear me out. Before we, I think this is the. I don't even know how to say it. This is the pinnacle of ultimate artisanal
Okay.
sandwich.
Okay. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Pineapple on it.
I'm trying to keep an open mind. Your thoughts on pineapple and pizza?
It's not. It's not bad. Look, we have random ass pizzas here in Melbourne anyway. Like this is like the hipster city of Australia. So we got the random stuff. I've had like potato and taleggio on pizza with rocket. That one's really nice.
What
Uh,
is Taleggio?
I have no idea, but the name has always just stayed with me. It's a cheese.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
uh,
Now we know.
Also, there's the Aussie pizza in Australia, which is literally like ham, cheese, and then they put a cracked egg in it.
Okay.
So that's like a fried egg that's sort of sitting in there. There's some random ones here, so it kind of like pineapple doesn't seem too crazy for me anyway, but I know people don't like it. I think here's another here's another recipe that we could do.
Mhm.
Pizza base, tomato paste,
Okay.
taleggio,
All right.
Pringle, nachos.
Ooh. Oh, you've added a whole different food realm.
Mm, yeah, we're
Okay.
mixing them all in. Yeah,
Hmm. I'm gonna let you make that.
I'm gonna try let me make that,
Okay.
and we'll see what
And
happens.
please report back to me.
Yes, if I'm not dead because of that, I will report back.
You have not clogged your arteries due to this pizza.
but this may just send me downhill from what I've got right now. So we'll find out. It may be the Telesio, maybe the mix between nachos and Pringles and the chemical reaction between the two, but we'll never know. I mean,
You know, you got to send the recipe to Jamie Oliver after this, just to see what he says.
I have a feeling the email that would come back would be re wanker, and that's it. So yeah. And on
Okay,
that note,
I
I
think
think
I
that's the
think
I think that was the perfect way to end this one.
I think so
Everyone,
too. I look forward to your experiments.
stay tuned for the bloomin' onion Pringle peanut butter and jelly Oreo flour thing. That'll be up somewhere. I'm not on Twitter, but I might come back on just to post a picture of that, and then post
You
a
got it,
picture of me eating it, and then
please.
potentially growing up.
We'll put it on the tangent Twitter.
I think that's a good idea, and everyone
Yeah,
can have a try of it. Yes, this is going to be perfect. All right.
awesome. Oh my god, this is gonna be great. That is my co-host Chance,
That's my co-host Steph.
and this has been Tangent the Off Topic Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.